Okay, I think this should be going now. It's pushing now. Perfect. All right, we are on Facebook Live.
Good morning. I am actually in Canva and I'm trying to get this ready to share.
I hope everyone is doing great. We are so excited to be here. I feel like I have a temperature this morning, so I'm glad we're virtual.
Yeah.
It is just constantly changing. If any of you have had COVID already, you know it's not consistent. You don't know what you're going to get every day, and so I just keep figuring out, like, get up and take a shower. You can feel better. It's going to be okay if you take a shower, put on makeup. You can at least try to make the best of it. Hi, Glennis. Great to see you.
Hey, good morning, Mel. Yeah,
Good
thank you
morning.
for having me.
Yes, this is going to be an awesome challenge. Shelly and I are here to add value to you guys, and we are challengers. Our why is challenge, and everything that we do, we want to just, push, 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 push. And so together, watch out. So Shelly has designed this more structure around what we want to offer today. And I've gotten a little bit of feedback, but as soon as she finds this Canva that she brought up, we're going to give you kind of the platform of all of the days. So for today, what we'd like for you to do, we're just going to be on here for an hour today. Shelly's got a call at 9 o'clock, top of the hour. So we're going to just provide you some structure of some training, some how-tos, and then kind of what we want you to do today, right? So the 4 days is to get you to be visible, to be able to walk through this process and to explode your business. It's happened to us. We want it to happen to you. So we want to help you stay true to this challenge every single day and just follow the process. Follow the process. All right. So with that, Shelly, are you, do you have it?
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
I am looking for,
Nice to see Dr. Millie here too.
okay.
Oh.
So, and hey, Melanie, I don't know if, so if I email, actually, if you get in Canva, because this is a team project.
Yep.
So I did download this. I don't know how we can push it out here so that they can get a copy of it.
Yeah, we can just put it in the Facebook page.
Okay. Do you want to do that while I'm kind of getting started?
I will. And I've got it shared so you can share, and I'll get on the back end here and do all that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have to be on our laptop and then download it to our desktop, right?
You don't have to. I'm actually going to bring up the workbook right now, if I can get to it. There we go. I want to present. There it goes. Okay. All right. Can y'all see this? See that on the screen? The Be Visible 4-day challenge.
Yes, I can see it.
Awesome. So this is, we downloaded this into a PDF. So this will go into the files on the Facebook page, and you can download it from there. Great. So that you can do the homework. And you might want to put your notes back over into this if you want to keep something, because each day there will be a new guide for the next part of the challenge. So as Melanie said, we're doing this 4-day challenge, and it's about being more visible and creating a strategy to help you to level up your brand, to using social media. So there's 4 parts to creating the right strategy: credibility, consistency, connection, and value. And when we put all 4 of these together, then we can create a strategy that helps us to be in front of people, be more authentic in our messaging and our brand, and creating those connections that we need to make with our potential clients and customers. Everybody agree with that?
Yes, very much so.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about these areas. First is how to create credibility. One of the best ways that we can create credibility for ourselves in our own business is through testimonials. If somebody, Millie, maybe could you mute, please? There we go. Yeah, now I'm getting not getting the feedback anymore. So testimonials and reviews, because we know that psychologically today, consumers are really driven by peer review. So if you want to drive more authentic credibility about your brand, it is in getting those testimonials and reviews. The second part of this in building credibility is credentials. If you have a business where you are a credentialed expert or credentialed in some type of education around your business, then it's important to let people know that. And then proven results is the third part of credibility. When you can show through social media very quickly, because here's another thing, the attention span of consumers today has dropped again to about 8 seconds. So we have to be able to very quickly grab attention. If we don't grab attention in the first 8 seconds of our post or our video or whatever it is that we're putting out there, whatever our content is, then we are probably going to lose a large percentage of people who could benefit potentially from our product or service. Does anyone have any questions or any thoughts about any part of this, the testimonials, credentials, proven results?
No, that is very, very true. Thank you, Shelley.
Does anyone have any, are you already doing these types of things to build your credibility around your brand?
Yeah, so for me, I have my reviews and my testimonials on my website. My challenge is just how to maybe cut and paste or how to do it to put it on my social media. It's kind of sitting on my website there. So yeah, I do have the tools, but I'm not using them properly, I guess.
And that's a big thing for most of us. I mean, we're trying to run businesses and we can't really be experts in everything. We've got to know our strengths, not only internally, but what can we outsource maybe that can allow us to stay in our zone of genius. And that is probably in the content creation more than it is doing the posting or building out our website. So if that is not an area of expertise, if you're not a content or website designer, then that may be an area where you want to think about outsourcing some of that work for a couple of different reasons. Number one, someone who does this on a day-to-day basis, and there's all kinds of places out there where you can find a VA, a virtual assistant, maybe who has expertise in this area. And I know Melanie and I have a few people that we have worked with or do work with that if anyone in this group wants a referral, we can try to get those out there through maybe the Facebook or the LinkedIn group. Because those are things that frustrate us. They drain our energy when we struggle with it. And it just takes down our creativity and our ability to really get out and do the things that create what we need, which is sales. So, we got to be a little bit aware of how we're spending our time and where we're investing our money. And I can tell you that my time is much better used in connecting with people and creating content than it is trying to figure out how to upload it. So yeah, that's something. Melanie, do you have anything to add there?
Sorry, I was coughing. No, I think that's so important is realizing where you need to spend your time. And because so many of us go, oh, well, it'll just take me a few minutes to figure this out. Oh, this won't be so tough. And then you look at the clock and it's 3 hours and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Happens to me on Canva.
Yeah, but then you go, well, wait a minute, what did I change? And what do I need to put in here? And what did I forget? And then you're like, I need a proofreader because I've changed everything, because now your thoughts have gone somewhere else and you've gotten a phone call. And so it's just, when even on my website, so I struggled with my website. I launched Everyday Leaders for 3 years, and I had videos and testimonials, and I was like, oh, this is the cat's meow. Like it's about what I wanted to say. Right. But then I realized, man, there was a web designer, Ruth Ann Bowen, that I'll give you guys her name if you need a website. She provides templates. In about 30 days, she took all my content and recrafted it and just made my website that is so easy, one touch. Like I don't have to do anything with it, but she's the expert, right? And sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to have somebody else help us that really it is their gift. It is their gift. So we can't block each other's blessings as women to think that we should be able to do it all. We're not
Mhm.
supposed to do it all. We're only supposed to do our gift.
That's so true. And everything that you guys are saying is something that I've experienced, because when you say you're going to create content, you have to consider that it could take you an entire day. You're dedicating a block of time to do it all. And sometimes that's just not even possible, because you're trying to block time out just to do, let's say, a video, or do, a challenge like this. And then to add that on top of that, it depletes your energy, as Shelley was saying. It's exhausting.
So again, knowing where your strengths are. And so for me, creating content actually raises my energy level. I love it. It's something that I really enjoy doing. And I know that I can create content all day long. However, if I don't get it put in the right places at the right time, it doesn't matter how much content I create. And if I'm not thinking about how my content is going to impact my audience, again, then I'm probably wasting time. So there's some things that we just have to keep in mind. And going back to the testimonials, the peer reviews, and keeping things simple.
Mm.
I think we get so passionate about our product or service. We want to vomit everything we know at one time through whatever content, whether it's a blog post or a Facebook post or a LinkedIn post. But the reality is we need to keep things simple, and the simpler, the better. Using current trends, being aware of what's trending, those, and talking about those kinds of things as well. That helps to humanize us and connect us with our audience, because we are saying that we see what they see, we're hearing what they hear, and here's how my product or service can help solve that problem, if that's your problem. So we want to remember that. And Millie, talking about making videos, I mean, that is like totally out of my comfort zone. I would never made it in Hollywood, but I forced myself. I've got to step out of my comfort zone. Otherwise, I'll never grow and my business will never grow. So doing things like this, where you're on camera and it's going to be rebroadcast and replayed, and you're like, oh man, how much did I do my makeup right? Well, I've kind of gotten over that. I mean, I put a little on, but really, I want to connect with the people in our community authentically. And that's a big challenge for most of us, especially if you're over the age of 40, because we were brought up we were trained up or brought up in that we needed to look a certain way or be a certain way to be considered professional, that we have to speak a certain way, that we have to sell a certain way, that we have to coach a certain way. And the reality is that's not necessarily true. because whatever takes us out of our authenticity and zone of genius doesn't really help us. It makes us a robot. That's my opinion. You have anything to add, Mel?
Yep, I think that is so important. You know, we have to show up as ourselves. And so trying to create content that looks like somebody else because you're like, oh, well, that really spoke to me. I'll just copy that. It doesn't work. You know, you have to really, this is why the testimonials, having your own credentials, really getting down and understanding who you are, what makes you thrive in what you love. And that's kind of why you're in this group, right? You love to kind of communicate what you do, why you do it, to be able to build something greater. And so no matter what, whether you're beginning your journey, whether you're an executive at a level as an independent consultant, you know, whatever that looks like for you, it is about creating your own story. And so I just want to encourage you, the content that you create, remember, you can repurpose this content. So even if you start today and you say, well, in 3 weeks, gosh, the message that I had, I can repurpose that again. And so just think of it as building your own library. And so everything that you want is just really being authentic every single day so that you know, who do you want to speak to in your audience today? Who needs to hear that part of your story? Because we're complex, right? We have lots of different things that have made us up, that have inspired us to be where we are. And so I think that's what people want to connect to. If you follow people on Instagram, you know, you'll see there'll be dance marathons and they'll say, yeah, but I'm a dancer because my dad used to come to my dance recitals and my dad died in a car wreck. And, you know, that's inspired her. And that's the story that makes you want to follow her and dance with her, not because she's on there dancing and you're like, and you feel threatened, like, oh, she's so tiny and look at her and she's got all these cute outfits. You know, naturally that's where people want to go first and they start comparing themselves. But
Mhm.
having your authentic story is creating that content so it builds that credibility, just like in here, builds a credibility and you can prove your results.
Mhm. So Jess asked a question in the chat. She says, what would you say the best startup point or way to begin building a base of testimonials and customer feedback is? So I'll start with that. And when someone is starting a new business and you don't yet have that base of testimonials and customer feedback, the best way to connect is through your story, through creating content that tells who you are. And just like Melanie just said, why you're doing what you're doing. There is a way that when you share your story authentically and from your why, you are going to attract people who are in alignment with that why and with who you are showing yourself as authentically in your social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, wherever that might be. What do you have to add there, Mel?
Yep, I agree 100,000%. You know, and your why is, man, it's complex, right? It's complex because we got to really dig down deep and pull those layers back. But understanding it and being able to communicate from it, that's the trigger because that's what sets you apart. That's your story. That's your heart. That's your authenticity that people see.
All right. Any other questions on the credibility part? Okay, I'm going to move on. So the next segment is creating consistency. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, right now, Melanie Ake is the queen of consistency. And I'm also going to say this: consistency is a choice, it is a decision. But I'm going to go over these 3 points that we have here. And then I really want Melanie to speak into this and tell you about her story with consistency if you don't already know it. So, with creating consistency, one of the things that I think is very helpful, and Millie, you kind of touched on this, choosing one topic or problem that your product or service addresses per month to focus on. So instead of trying to create content that is something different every day, or a different problem or a different solution, focus on one area per month. So really you're talking then about potentially 12, or as Melanie alluded to earlier, you can choose 3 or 4 things and quarterly repurpose them. So you're going back and establishing some repurposed content every quarter on a specific topic or problem that your product or service addresses. Secondly, batch create content and schedule posts via AI. If you can set aside one day a month to create content, and again, remember, keeping it simple, keeping it short so that you are getting the attention of your audience quickly, because really what you're trying to do is drive them to your store or your website, right? I mean, that's the ultimate, what we're trying to achieve with all this. And using the Meta Suite in Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn has a scheduling calendar for content posting. So using, there's different other Hootsuite. There's a lot of different apps out there that you can utilize to not only create batch content and then schedule it for posting throughout the month, but it also can post to multiple platforms. I would caution you though, Facebook and Instagram in particular, and LinkedIn even more so, are starting to catch on to the AI posting through different platforms where you're posting to multiple platforms at the same time. And they're devaluing that in the algorithms and in where your posts are showing up in the feeds. So just be a little careful about that. And then third, calendar out your main content for a year in advance. This will reduce so much stress from trying to figure out what you're going to drive your content around. And I really encourage everyone to, number one, don't post every day about your products or your services. People need to get to know you. If you have a storefront business, say you're a retail owner, store owner, people still need to get to know you, because we don't buy products, we buy people. We buy whoever's behind the product or the service. That's really who we're buying psychologically. So we have to create that connection with our audience that makes them think, wow, I really get this person, and I think I want to support them when I have a need for this product or service. Now, I really want Melanie to talk about how consistency works.
Well, thanks, Shelley. I love an opportunity to talk about this. So you guys, here's the thing, right? When you feel that there is something in your heart that is a gap in your life, whatever that is, if it's consistency, if it's branding, if it's, just content creation, whatever you feel that gap is. For me, I felt that there was a gap a few years ago, and it was just having structure. It was having structure in my life. And I was challenged by my mentor, John Maxwell, to read the book of Proverbs for 31 days. And so October 1st, 2019, I said to some people, hey, you want to start this with me? Let's do this 31-day challenge, because I need to create structure. I need consistency. And I know that this is missing. So I just need to do this for 30 days. It'll help me. He said it'll give me wisdom and clarity. And so we did for 31 days. Every single day we got on and we discovered that there was something new that we were learning about ourselves. We were bonding, we were growing together. And, we kept going after October 31st, 2019. And so for those of you that don't know this story, here's what happened. We went to Luke and we went to Corinthians and we went to Psalms, and the pandemic happened. And now it's 2020 and we're getting more people, more momentum, and we're seeing the value of adding value to people. And it was no longer about me being challenged for myself. It was starting because I was adding value to other people. That method of transformation in my own belief, my own heart, my own reasoning for doing what I'm doing today was 1,029 days of consistency. I'm serious. 1,029 days every day at 7:30 a.m. Just got off of the call to come to this one. We meet and we go over a chapter in the John Maxwell Bible. If you're a person of faith, you're welcome to come. But we study one chapter and we read it and we take an action plan on it. What are we supposed to do differently today? Now, that consistency has given me clarity, courage, and confidence to get clear on everything else. So whatever that needs to look like in your life, implement it, right? For me, it was the challenge of creating some kind of a spiritual devotional. That worked for me. Whatever it is for you, dedicate your time right now to say, I'm going to give, and I preach this, the 1% principle, 14 minutes a day, every day. One thing, improve one thing that you want to see improved, 14 minutes a day for 365 days. Commit to yourself for that. Start small, start with 30 days. But once you get that momentum, do not look back. Do not give in to anything else. Value that and protect that, because it shows you the clarity and it helps you grow through the strategy that you need to create. You don't know what it is in the beginning, but my goodness, it gets really clear. So I want to encourage you. You can do that. I didn't even take a shower for the last 1,029 days through COVID, but I have been on the devotional and it has gotten me clear. And thank God it's been virtual, right?
I'm pretty sure you haven't taken a shower every single day. You haven't
Right.
taken one for 1,029 days.
But not, not consistently.
Right.
Sometimes you get up and, you don't feel good. I've had COVID, whatever. But that's something that you say, that is something that's important to me. I value it. And so then I can communicate that to my tribe, to my audience, to people that follow me. They're like, are you really still doing that? And they look back and go, man, I couldn't do that. And I'm like, no, it was about doing it one day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the 1,029 days. It was doing it the first day and the second day and the third day. And then seeing that other people were seeing that was adding value to them. And now we have relationships, we have a bond, we have energy. We were talking about this morning. You have created something so different because of what you saw in the beginning, but you don't know what it's going to look like in the end. So I want to encourage you to start, if you haven't started something like this. So we're talking about branding and social media. It's scary sometimes to think about how much energy it's going to take to do it. Don't think about it that way. Just break it down. Like Shelley said, just break it down. The calendar of one thing, getting it out for the whole year, writing it down on paper, it's going to make you feel a lot more confident to get that. So, all right, Shelley, I'll be quiet now.
All right. So as you can see, both of us are big believers in consistency. Consistency does a lot of things, and there's a lot of spillover effect from choosing even one thing to be consistent about. It will create a momentum and a spillover effect into other areas of your business and your life. So consistency is not about just one thing. It's about how you live life. And Melanie has a saying that she says all the time, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And consistency is a big piece of that. So we want to encourage you to create consistency and to do it in a way that doesn't stress you out and add even more to your plate. All right. So the next item is creating connection. Number one, be authentic. You have to speak in your own voice, no matter what that is. And your voice is what attracts people to you. Your voice being not necessarily my vocal tenor, tone, all of that, but who I am and what I value and why I have this business and what my product or service is and the why behind it all. Being authentic, being in your feminine energy, not feeling like you have to be in male energy just because you're in a field that is heavily male dominated. Your authentic voice is what will attract the right clients to you. And the right clients are who we need. Number two, not all posts should be business directed. We do need to talk about our businesses through social media. However, at least 2 posts a week should let your audience learn more about who you are, to get to know you as a person, what you value, what you like, what you do outside of your business, about your family. And, we have to be careful about not oversharing, especially about our kids and things like that. There's just too many crazy people out there. The world is a little strange right now and much more dangerous than it was when I was growing up. So we do have to be aware and maintain some boundaries around that. And then the third thing, and this is a huge way that you can create connection with your audience, and that is to ask questions of them and involve them in your journey. And as a quick example of that, if you are thinking about adding a new product line or a new service, and you think it'll be something great that your audience will love, that your client base will love, do a poll on Facebook or LinkedIn and ask your clients, ask your audience, would you prefer A or B? Or I'm thinking about adding this. What do you think? What problems can you see that this might solve for you? So involving your audience in your journey is very powerful in building connection and asking those questions and showing that you care about providing something that your audience wants and needs. Melanie, you want to jump in?
I think what's interesting about this is when you start to do this exercise, you realize that you're creating something for you instead of your audience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times you're starting at the very foundational level of thinking about a product and you're like, oh, well, that would match this or that would fill this gap. And yet maybe it's to make your processes easier, but it's not really to help your customer have an advantage for something that you really want them to learn, right? So even if any of your coaches on here, right? So part of what we want to do as coaches is we want to fix and we want to have solutions, right? We want solutions. But part of the journey is we can't fix other people. We just can provide resources. We provide resources so that they have this transformation. And so part of it is when you start to think about what's a product or service that will solve problems, you have to really be careful in asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
So asking the right questions will get you the right answers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jess is on here, and for full transparency, Jess is my oldest bonus daughter, and I'm so excited and proud of her. She is starting a little cottage business. And
right.
Hey, Jess.
Hi, Jess.
And so she is she even kind of created a hashtag, I think, would you Jess, of what is your hashtag? Whoops, you're muted, girl.
Okay.
There you are.
So I was doing a hashtag on Wednesdays, we wear green. But right now it's basically the Aunt Jane Collective, which is the name that I've decided to go with for my business.
So with so Jess is putting together oh no, I just lost my words completely. So Jess is putting together these like packets of things like cross stitch
Mhm.
and different creative things. Just talk just a little bit, just real briefly about what your kits are.
Yeah, so basically I'm a huge crafter. I have been for a really long time. And I know that when I started, I was really frustrated because there wasn't a lot of like really tangible instructions or really community to come together to do these types of things. And then I was also thinking that I love things like, the Spotify history, weird history podcasts. So I was like, well, why don't I marry those two ideas? So now I plan on putting together almost like these little subscription kits or just, one at a time to send out to people where we will have scheduled interactions where these projects we will, sit together or, Zoom, all that stuff, and do these crafts together while having a conversation that specifically revolves around the theme of the piece. So I also want to tie in nonprofits, which I actually have a meeting with momsrising.org next week. And I want to work with them where a large portion of the proceeds will be going to these nonprofits as well. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. So from what what Melanie and I just talked about creating connection and asking questions of your audience, involving them in your journey. So can you think of anything that would be helpful for you right now in maybe choosing a couple of things to focus on as far as, like your first offering, maybe? How might you do that? Can you think, has this helped you kind of identify, ooh, maybe I should do this or could do this?
Oh, certainly. Just because I feel like identified my customer base already. I feel like I've already started kind of promoting myself and my personal journey on my personal Facebook page, and it's kind of bled over into what has become my business page. So I've been doing a lot of things where, like the current issues going on right now. I've been, putting how I feel about them on there, ties into the business. And that's been bringing in a lot of customers as well, who have been really interested on when this is going to be beginning, how they kind of, get involved in that kind of thing. So that's been pretty helpful.
So one of the suggestions I would give to you specifically is because I know you have a couple of kit designs already, is maybe doing a poll on your Facebook page on, hey, these are 2 or 3 kits that I have, trying to figure out maybe the best one to start with for the first group, and then let your audience weigh in on it. Melanie, what do you think about that?
That's exactly what I was going to say, because people want to be a part of your journey, and they're like, oh, I selected that one. I want to help. How can I connect you to get more of those? Yeah. Yep.
And then they spread the word, which increases our reach and increases our audience and increases our sales. And if most of your sales you're wanting to give to a nonprofit, more power to you. Some of us want to keep that.
But what it also does is it connects you to people that you would have never maybe had the opportunity to meet because they didn't know that you wanted their opinion. So giving someone else the ability to connect with you on something that you care so deeply about, that is the authenticity, right? That's where somebody will carry that message for you as your customer for life. So it really matters. It makes a difference. The little things that we do as women make a big difference. And this is just one of them.
Awesome. Does that help, Jess?
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate the feedback and all of that.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to move on. How to create your value statement is the fourth part for our 4 circles. And so we want to, in creating a value statement, we want to focus on the solution that we provide and what the transformation or experience that your product or service provides, and then what need does it meet. So this all goes back into having to kind of step back and really think in. And something that Melanie said a few minutes ago, I want you to really think about, and that is, have you created something, a product or a service that you have thought about or asked if it meets the needs or transforms or creates an experience, provides in a solution that people want and need? Or is it something that you wanted and needed? So Melanie, you want to speak into that some?
Yeah, I just we get lost so many times on our selfish needs of, well, this is going to fix everything. Yet when we look around, it really doesn't solve the world's problems. So when you solve a world problem, you have a gap, right? There's a gap of something. That's where you really want to look for how your product solves that problem. And sometimes you can't answer that. So you really have to stay in touch with the people that are, in your circle on your journey, that feel the pain of where your solution will help them. And they're going to tell you. So that's why you really need to have kind of a board of directors too, as you formulate your product lines, of getting feedback, getting authentic feedback from people that will go through this experience, right? Not just people that say, "Oh, I'm your friend, I'm gonna give you advice," but people that, if they go through this experience, if they buy your product, if they learn this process or system from you, where's it going to take them in their life? And those are the people that you really need to bring in and get close to you, so they can help you create the value of this purpose statement. I've got some more exercises that we'll bring into this group about value creation from a sales perspective. But
Mhm.
for right now, we really want you to focus on, you know, making that authentic, and making sure that it's just not about, well, I think this will fix, I've got a scratch on my arm. I need a Band-Aid. Right?
Mhm.
You want to solve a bigger solution.
Right.
So bigger solution is, it's going to require a little bit more time, a little bit more thought, a little bit more feedback.
Mhm.
So give it the effort. Give yourself the effort. Don't give up on, well, that didn't work. Keep digging, right? Once you get it, it's gold and it clicks and you go, "Ah, okay, that's it." But
Mhm.
it takes time.
It does. And it is, and sometimes it can come really quickly. And part of it has to do with how experienced you are in business and in life. And those just getting started, these are probably a little bit foreign concepts because it's not something you've focused on in the past. But when you are building a business, whether it's retail sales, service sales, product sales, it is imperative to get to a place where you are so clear on what you do, but more importantly, why you do it and how it solves problems, creates transformation or experiences, or meets a need. And when you are crystal clear on that, the processes and strategies that Melanie's talking about, because we are going to continue to do challenges and little trainings, but creating a value statement becomes extremely simple when you're crystal clear on all the other things. All right. Any questions, any other comments or input on what we just talked about?
Yeah, I agree that connection is really, really important, but maybe
if you can cover as to what are the platforms that connect most with your audience based on the product that you're offering, right? Like, for example, I talk to youth. I design programs for youth. So for me, they are not on Facebook. So for me, it's imperative for me to be on something like TikTok or something that they are on. So I
And
guess
Glynis, that's
what platform?
amazing. Thank you for that question, because guess what? Tomorrow is day 2 of the 4-day challenge, and it is specific to targeting the right platform for your audience. So please
Perfect.
make sure you're on with us tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Andrea, Jess, anyone else?
Good morning.
Hey, Andrea.
Hi, how are you guys? You were saying before about filling a need. Are you speaking on business need, professional need, or are you also speaking to someone's personal psychological need for both?
So a need, and I'm talking about whatever it is that you're selling. What need does your product or service meet for someone else? So the Maslow hierarchy of needs, that's a whole nother conversation that we will have at some point in time, because driving psychologically to how our product or service meets specific needs is also critical. But so that's another piece that we'll eventually be bringing to the table as well.
Okay.
But does that help at all, Andrea? Kind of
Yeah, it does.
understanding? Okay, awesome.
I assume it was business, but I want to
Yeah.
be clear.
And it might be. I mean, if you're a coach, the needs that you're meeting are probably transformation within someone's life. Personally, if you're a life coach, business coach, you're helping transform their business and probably their personal life as well. If you are selling a product, then what need is that meeting? What inner of the 5 needs are you meeting with that? Is it safety? Is it love? Is it security? Is it, there's the 5 needs. So what does your product or service meet as far as a need? When you can marry all these things together, when you can answer all these questions, whew, man, you can create some content that is going to blow people away and bring them in. And they're going to be sharing it and you'll go viral.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
So now we come to homework. Yay! Everybody loves homework.
Woo!
So your homework is to gather testimonials and reviews. If you don't have them, or if you're not established enough in business, then start thinking about who you can get a testimonial from about you personally, about your why. So even if you haven't sold a widget yet, people know you and your passion for what you're doing. And they have experience with you maybe in a different field or a different business or job that you've had. Peer review is peer review, and it's important. So use what you can, and then you can always update it as you start selling product or service with new reviews and testimonials.
Peer
And
review
then
is about character.
Absolutely.
Peer review is about character. So when you're thinking about building credibility, you go back to, well, what's somebody's integrity? What's their character? So this, don't feel like you have to have a business for 5 years or 10 years or, have a market brand, but your character is what people want to know about. So, because they don't know you. Sorry.
And we have to show that we're trustworthy. And we can tell people all day that we're trustworthy. But if they don't know us, why should they believe us?
Right.
So that's why this is so critical. And then you better know what your competitors are doing. So get out there and do a little perusal on the different platforms and follow people who do what you do and see what they're doing. And look to see how much engagement they're getting. And again, we don't want to try to be somebody else. But if there's something that someone else is doing that's working, maybe we can model ourselves and some of our content authentic to us around that. Are they talking about trending topics? Are they doing a lot more personal posting about their, getting people to know them? I mean, those are the things I'm talking about, looking for. And then I want you to ask 3 clients for a review or a testimonial if you have them available. I did a little Facebook Live last week on the 3 asks. And it's incredibly powerful when we get to the point where we know that we are worthy of asking and receiving. We don't ask because we're afraid of being rejected or we're afraid of being a burden. And if we've been providing value, then we have every right to be able to ask someone for a review or a testimonial without fear. And even if they say, oh, I can't do that right now, that's okay. It doesn't mean that they don't like you or that you provided a bad service or product. It's that everybody's busy right now. So 3 clients for a review or testimonial. If you don't have clients yet, 3 other people in your life who can speak to your character. Melanie?
Yep, I was just responding here on the text.
Okay.
So yes, absolutely. These can be, I'm gonna cough, sorry. COVID cough. But get on board with this, and don't overcomplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
We overcomplicate everything. Don't overcomplicate this.
All right. Exercise 2. Answer these questions and be ready to discuss them tomorrow. What is the top problem that your product or service solves? What is the experience or transformation that your product or service provides? And how are you currently connecting to your audience? And I would also add maybe where, so that we can talk about when we talk tomorrow about targeting the right platforms. So that'll just be right there in front of you. Okay, this is where I've been spending most of my time and which platform I've been on predominantly, so that we can really start digging into where your audience lives. And then, is that really the right platform? And we'll talk about some of the demographics related to different age groups and gender groups and social community groups to help you to identify really where to be putting the majority of your effort. And then finally, exercise number 3. Really want you to think into this. What message are you trying to convey via your content and social media posts? And what do you hope it looks like to other people? So, what message are you trying to convey via your content and social media? And what do you hope it looks like to other people? So, if you will spend a little bit of time digging into those questions, and this is asking you, I know we're asking you to really go a little deep here, really reflect, think about what you're doing and why. And then that allows us, when we come back together tomorrow and start digging into the targeting on the right platforms, so that you have more clarity around where you should be spending your time, your effort, and potentially, if you're doing any kind of advertising, your money. Melanie?
Yep. Got to do the work. Do the work, get the results. That's what we always say. Take action. Nothing happens without action. So if you just carve out a time today to take us on this journey with you for 4 days, we promise that this will give you a little bit more clarity, to have the confidence to show up differently. and it will make an impact. I promise you that action speaks louder than anything. So we're
Mhm.
here to encourage you. We're here to help you. If you have questions, put those here in the chat below this live in the Facebook group. And I couldn't get on Canva here live yet. I'm going to post this in the group so that you have access to it. Download it, use it, live it, love it, and let us know what we can do to help you.
Absolutely. And Melanie, I've already got it saved, so I can drop it in there real quick after we
Okay.
get done here. Well, also is so LinkedIn, you know, with its groups is a newer thing. But I'm pretty sure we can drop media in there as well. So we'll have this wherever you are
Yep.
coming to us from. And we are so happy that you all joined us this morning. We're hoping that obviously you will get a lot of value out of this. And even though today is day one, if there are other women that you know in sales leaders, invite them to join us tomorrow. We'll get them caught up. You know, so let us know and invite others to join along in this journey so that we can just help elevate and empower more women. Thank you.
Yep. Great to see you guys this morning. See you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.